Tonight at 5, a witness who was near the shooter at UNC Charlotte is talking publicly about it, how he saved his friends. Plus,
if we were getting $15 an hour, that would help eliminate having to work 2 or 3 jobs.
And a bus driver and custodian demanding better pay and more resources. We're live with personal stories from the education rally in Raleigh.
You'll also find a sea of red at PNC Arena tonight. The Hurricanes back home for Game 3 in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. We have all the excitement for the game, which starts in about 2 hours.
This is WRAL News, your #1 source for local news.
We are following 2 big stories tonight from Charlotte and Raleigh, affecting people across the entire state. Tonight we have stories of heroism and bravery in a school shooting at UNC Charlotte, a shooting that left 2 students dead and a campus shaken. And here in Raleigh, we have been downtown all day covering the North Carolina teacher rally, where thousands of teachers are calling for more money and more resources for public schools. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens. David Crabtree is down there covering the teacher rally in downtown Raleigh. And I'm Deborah Morgan. First, a gunman killed 2 students after storming into a classroom on the last day of classes at UNC Charlotte. 4 others were injured and 2 of them are from Apex. Police say the gunman did not know the people he killed. Tonight we have team coverage with Casey Cunningham and Mark Boyle. We begin with Mark in Charlotte, who spoke with a student who stood just feet away from the gunman. Mark?
Good evening. That student says he was less than 15 feet away from the gunman. The vigil set to start here in about an hour from now. Hundreds of people will be here. Right now, emergency crews are starting to arrive. The chancellor is set to be here in a short time as well. On your screen right now, pictures of some of the victims. 2 students killed, 4 others injured. We'll start with Riley Howell and Ellis Parlier. Police say Howell was trapped in the classroom. He actually ran towards the shooter to stop him. 2 others hurt. From our area, in Apex, Sean DeHart and Drew Piscaro. The other shot are expected to be okay as well, identified as Rami Al-Ramadan and Emily Haupt. Now, we have a mugshot to show you of the 22-year-old suspect, a former UNC Charlotte history major who recently dropped out. He's been identified as Tristan Terrell. He is now in custody. Police, of course, trying to figure out the motive behind all of this. Now, the scene yesterday was chaotic. Police say students and the first officers to arrive on scene actually played a key role here. I interviewed a student by the name of Hunter Frederick, and we also heard from the first officer to arrive. Take a listen.
I took some people undercover and told them to get out of the way because I want to save as much people as can.
I never thought I'd have to do this, but unfortunately today I do. I've been preparing for this for over 20 years. In my mind, I'm trying to get officers to prepare for it in their minds, what they would do. I'm very pleased to say I'm proud of myself and all the officers that responded to this scene.
Back live here again, the vigil is set to start at 6 o'clock this evening. One thing was made very clear here today. Students and police officers did not hesitate. They either got away to safety or they ran towards that shooter to stop him from hurting anyone else. Much more from that student, the eyewitness, coming up all new tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Mark Boyle, live in Charlotte. We now continue our coverage with Casey Cunningham. Casey.
And Mark, the community here in Apex is just shocked that 2 of the students injured in the shooting are from right here in this small North Carolina town. And I want to start off with 19-year-old Drew Piscaro. He was a student here at Middle Creek High School. We spoke with some of his classmates who say he was such a nice guy. He is such a nice guy, and they are rallying behind him. They will be here to support him through his recovery.
I mean, he's just like the most caring person. I mean, you'd see him around the school all the time. He'd always have like a smile on his face, always saying hey and ask everybody how their day's going.
Piscaro is a current student at UNC Charlotte and very involved on campus as an Alpha Tau Omega and a manager for the school's basketball team. A friend tells us he's out of surgery and is expected to be okay.
I just want him to know that everybody throughout the whole community is thinking about him. We all wish him the best. We all wish the family the best. I mean, from the bottom of our hearts, we just wish him nothing but the best. Huge full recovery. That's all we want.
We've also learned 20-year-old Sean DeHart was injured during the shooting. DeHart, originally from Connecticut, lives here in Apex. He attended Cardinal Gibbons High School. The principal there says his family has asked for privacy. The school is asking the community for prayers. And both families are really asking for privacy during this difficult time. But Drew's family in particular is asking the community to use the hashtag DrewStrong to show the community's support to him through their recovery. And if you check out that hashtag, the messages to Drew and the other students who are involved in this are just overwhelming. Back to you.
All right, Casey Cunningham live in Apex. Thank you. As Casey mentioned, Drew Pescaro, excuse me, who was injured in the shooting, is from Apex and went to Middle Creek. We'll hear what his best friend has to say about Drew and the shooting tonight at 6. The FBI and others are helping with this investigation. We'll continue to keep you updated right here as we get new information on WRAL.com.
Teachers, students, bus drivers, counselors, and others gathered in downtown Raleigh for a teacher rally in March. They demanded more support for public schools from state lawmakers today. One woman who made her voice heard was a teacher assistant from the Asheville area. She urged teachers and supporters to demand their value. She emphasized she makes $12.47 an hour.
I have proven myself to this state for 26 years. You have proven yourself for all the years that you have educated these wonderful children. But are you paid? No. Are you worth it? Yes.
Her message today, are you worth it? She went on to address custodians, cafeteria workers, and many others, repeating that message.
And dozens of other people also spoke today from that rally with their own personal experiences. WRL's David Crabtree has been there all day talking with people. David, what messages did people send today from this event?
Gerald, the basic message was, we hope lawmakers and the governor, you will listen to us. We're here at the Capitol because the man who sits there and works, Roy Cooper, has got to find a way to work with the men and women who are at the end of Bicentennial Plaza, and we're talking about state lawmakers. There has to be a compromise to meet what Deborah was describing as demands from the teachers and educators who were out here today. It's a hard word to get lawmakers to work together on sometimes. Now, it wasn't just teachers, even though we call this a teacher rally several times. It was about educators. It was about bus drivers, counselors, custodians, and others. Amanda Lamb was with those marchers today, including some of those folks in various jobs, and joins us live now from downtown Raleigh. Amanda?
You know, David, in this spot where I was standing earlier today, where I'm standing now on Fayetteville Street, it was a sea of red from here all the way to the Capitol. And when you started looking at the signs people were carrying, well, it was evident they weren't all teachers. There were bus drivers who were important in getting those kids to school. There were custodians who keep the schools clean, and also people who deal with the physical and emotional health of those students, the counselors and the nurses. And they say they need more personnel and better wages.
Employees who quietly make sure schools operate smoothly marched alongside teachers like bus drivers and custodians.
Bus drivers don't get the kids to school. There's no one to teach. And if custodians don't clean the school, then it poses a hazard to everyone.
They are supporting a proposed $15 an hour minimum wage for all school employees.
I have a lot of my coworkers and friends that's working 2 jobs to make ends meet.
But it's not just about pay. Marchers say schools need more employees in support roles, like school counselors. These Wake County middle school counselors are each responsible for 300 children.
So what ends up happening is we'll have a student that wants to come to us and seek out help, but we're in the middle of helping somebody else, and we'll be like, we'll get back to you.
Children can't learn until they feel safe and loved and protected. And so it's just critical that we have enough school counselors, school nurses, school psychologists.
Do y'all feel powerful? North Carolina has a better ratio of students to counselors than the national average, but school nurses are in short supply. Some cover as many as 6 schools at a time.
And a lot of times we have to send kids to the office, from cuts to broken arms to teeth falling out, and the secretaries are the ones that have to handle everything right now.
The gaps in staffing support roles leave teachers wearing many hats.
The social and emotional piece, while it was a part of my college curriculum, I wouldn't say I'm a professional in that.
Even librarians are being eliminated in some school districts.
Librarians, I like to think, are like the heart of the school. We work with every student. I know every student at my school by name.
Now, I remember my high school librarian, Mrs. Mataraz, and she did know us all by name, and that wasn't always a good thing if you weren't behaving in the library. But I think we can all agree, David, that these roles are definitely very important to creating healthy schools. Back to you.
Amanda Lamb reporting live on Fayetteville Street. Amanda, thank you. There was debate before, during, and now after this rally today. Was it for teachers? Was it political? Was it simply to change the makeup of the General Assembly? Teachers say it was for them. Yet there were a lot of different signs here this year we didn't see a year ago that said it seemed to be a bit more political. Take a look at this. These signs were from people marching and letting others know that they wanted a change in the General Assembly, and they wanted it quickly. In fact, they called for a number of seats to be overturned. NCAE leader Mark Jewell said it was a rally for all of North Carolina.
Obviously, when we talk about trying to change those in those seats, we have got to have, folks being able to sit down and negotiate with us right now. And that's not happening right now.
Coming up at 5:30, we'll continue the coverage of today's march and rally. Nia Harden will join us with a look at teachers from Johnston County. Those who made the trek here took a day off from school to have their voices heard. Gerald, Deborah?
Well, David, in fairness, when I talked to Mark Johnson, the state superintendent, earlier this week, he said he has offered to meet with NCAE and the organizers of this rally, and they have refused. So sounds like we're at an impasse when it comes to that.
And maybe they could come together after this and get together in the same room and say, you know what, guys, we all want the same thing. We just need to talk about it.
Yeah, we asked Mark Jewell about that very thing today. He said that there's no negotiation happening, that the other side didn't want to talk. Mark Johnson said, not true. We are willing to talk, we want to talk, and he simply was not invited to do so.
All right, we'll see. Maybe that'll change, and we'll hear more about this.
Thanks, David.
Coming up, new changes for high school athletes.
How the rules have been changed for transgender teens who want to be on the team tonight at 5:30.
Plus, the Canes take on the Islanders in Game 3 of their series. We are live at PNC, where fans are tailgating and getting excited for the 7 o'clock start. Mike?
Well, Gerald, they're tailgating with some very warm weather this afternoon, but at least we got plenty of sunshine. Now, the big story for the next couple of mornings, maybe cloud cover that will form. We'll talk more about that and how it could impact our afternoon highs. It's in the forecast coming up.
Here's a live look at Dorothea Dix Park in downtown Raleigh. Look at that, not a cloud in the sky. That's what you call a dog's paradise. I'd like to get out there and run around and have a wonderful day here on this warm May 1st.
In the Live Center, 7 cases of whooping cough have been confirmed at a Chapel Hill Elementary School. 6 students, 1 staff member from Glenwood Elementary in the Chapel Hill Carrboro school system have been sent home sick. Whooping cough, also known as pertussis, can lead to a painful, violent cough if it's not treated immediately. Parents have been notified. They've also are really paying close attention to students and other staffers who had close contact with these 6 students. But again, 6 students, 1 staff member sent home with whooping cough at a Chapel Hill Elementary School. Back to you.
Wow. All right. Sounds serious. Thank you. Durham police have identified a man stabbed to death that happened shortly after 10 o'clock last night on East Cornwallis Road in Durham. Police say 58-year-old John Mason died in the stabbing. No charges have been filed. Anyone with information is asked to call police. Children in the Triangle have an opportunity to get to know their local police officers. The Durham Police Department still has spaces available in its summer camp sessions. Campers take daily field trips and participate in activities with Durham officers. The camps run from July 15th through the 19th and August 12th through the 16th. The deadline to apply is May 31st on the Durham Police website.
Tonight, the Carolina Hurricanes take on the New York Islanders at home for Game 3 of their series. The Canes have rallied past the Islanders in both 2 games, winning them. So now the Canes up 2-0. Mandy Mitchell live at PNC Arena, where fans are hoping 3-0 in this series. Mandy, it's possible. What a win that would be.
It's possible for them to get a sweep this week here at the PNC Arena, so that would be quite a week for the Carolina Hurricanes. And as you can see, the fans totally getting ready for this Game 3 today at the PNC Arena. It's been a little bit while since they've had hockey here, those first 2 games in New York. A little different today because the fans are setting up in the shade. It's much, much hotter than it's been the first couple of games. The games from the last series where it was nice and cool out here and then you could go into the arena. So you kind of have to have a plan, and these fans do have a plan.
We camped out in the shade and we actually have our tailgating attire, and then we have other clothes that we're going to change into when we go into the game because it's a little chillier and by the ice.
And I actually have my jacket as well because it's hot out here, but then you go inside and it's quite cold, so we have to be ready for the hockey. I know everyone's wondering about Hamilton. He just arrived because it's kind of hot. And Gerald, I have to tell you, he kind of gave me the Heisman because he had to go inside and do some network stuff. So he said he'll be right back. So come on, Hamilton. Doesn't want to talk to Channel 5? I'm sure he will soon, though.
And by the Heisman, for those who don't know, he brushed you off a little bit with that. Okay.
He did brush me off, yes.
He's bigger now. You know, he's kind of a big star now, Mandy. Can't get close to him like you used to be able to.
I know. We just have to take a number, I guess.
There you go. Mandy Mitchell, live at PNC. Thank you.
Mandy was the first one to tell us about Hamilton, too. I think he owes it to her. AAA is warning young drivers against drinking and getting behind the wheel during prom and graduation season. A recent survey showed nearly 40% rather of teens 16 to 19 admit they or their friends would drink or do drugs during prom or graduation. AAA suggests parents talk with your teens about the dangers of drinking and driving. Make sure you know where they are going before and after prom. Also encourage them to call you if they get into trouble without a fear of strict consequences.
Older residents in North Carolina can get access to free fans for some real relief from the heat. A local program called Operation Fan Heat will distribute fans to disabled and older adults. It started today and runs through October 31st. Last year, the groups involved distributed more than 5,000 fans. You can sign up on the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services website.
What an important program as we really get into the heat
Yeah.
of the year here. But I thought it was actually a very, very nice day today.
We really fell short of where we were supposed to go today. We were expecting 87.
Low humidity, really. It didn't feel too muggy to me.
The breeze helped.
Yeah.
I only got to 84 out at RDU, so not that bad. But tell folks in Fayetteville who got to 88,
Right,
it was
a
little more uncomfortable. And there may be a reason why over the next few days that our highs may not get quite as warm as what we've been talking about. Let's first take a look at the highs today. 84 out at RDU, 8 degrees above normal. Our normal high is 76. Would it be nice to have 76? Yes, I believe it would be, but there are folks who like it in the 80s this time of year. And there's your 88 Fayetteville, 9 degrees above normal. Out there right now, it's warm, still 84 at the airport, a little hotter in Greenville and Pitt County, 88, 86 Fayetteville, 85 Southern Pines. The clear sky we have now will basically be with us as we head through the evening and most of the overnight, but we are watching some trends. Now, some of us saw some low clouds and fog this morning. That could impact the afternoon highs tomorrow. Because we'll see the more cloud cover and fog develop tonight and again tomorrow night. We're also watching a cold front that's coming in. Looks like on some of the model guidance, it's a slower approach. Could the storm timeline be changing for the weekend? Could it mean a lesser chance of rain on Saturday and a better chance on Sunday? We kind of alluded to that yesterday. And if you're heading out to Coleman Triangle Race for the Cure at RTP at the Frontier, here's your scenario that we're looking at today. Morning clouds, it could be an overcast for the first part of the day, and then later on in the afternoon, the potential for some storms. Now, going back to that morning cloud issue, this is the cloud cover and some fog we woke up to this morning. When I got up around 8, I looked out the window and saw the sunshine, and then all of a sudden it started to look darker and darker outside. These clouds began to migrate into the area. So it's low clouds and fog that formed, and as we go through time, you can see how it tried to make its way into the Raleigh area. The downtown folks at the Raleigh saw sunshine throughout the duration of the morning, and then this gradually broke up. But look at all the clouds that are developing in South Carolina. There's a lot of low-level moisture coming in off the Atlantic, and that's what's feeding the development of clouds. And as the atmosphere cools overnight, we see the low stratus develop and the fog form as well. We're going to watch to see if that develops again tonight, maybe on a more widespread basis, if not more widespread tonight. It looks like Friday could be more widespread, and it could have an impact on our forecast highs. Now, expanding the view, Kat talked about this the last hour, a little disturbance we're watching in the Bahamas right now. It has about a 20% chance of developing over the next 5 days, and the way it would move would be over Florida and then eventually to the northeast. Right now, we're not concerned that it will develop. We'll continue to watch it, though. And yes, it's a bit early. Hurricane season doesn't start until June 1st. So let's check out Futurecast. We expect the weather to remain dry overnight. Watch how the clouds and fog form tomorrow morning. There's 7 o'clock. There's 9 a.m. Not all that widespread, but could impact some local areas for your morning commute with low clouds and fog. And then lunchtime tomorrow, plenty of sunshine by 6 o'clock. And then we're going to watch to see if that low cloudiness and fog forms again Friday morning, perhaps more on an expansive basis. And if this is the case, it would have an impact on the afternoon high, perhaps a little bit cooler than what we were talking about earlier this week. And there's your small potential for a shower or a thunderstorm. So heading out this evening, 80 by 7 o'clock, 76 at 9, 73 by 11 o'clock. Watch for some clouds and fog to form overnight. Low 60s, the lows, 62 in Raleigh, 62 in Fayetteville. And here is your 7-day forecast. Friday at about a 30% chance of showers and storms. 83 the high, 85 on Saturday, 80 on Sunday. Still chance for storms through the weekend. Perhaps upper 70s and lower humidity by Monday. So, you know, it's awfully quiet in the forecast when we're really picking apart things, and that's what I just
That's
did.
a good thing.
Yeah, but for you folks heading to Coleman Saturday morning, I think we're going to be okay. It may just be an overcast, which would tend to keep it a little cooler.
That could be perfect for a run.
Yes.
Run, walk.
Exactly.
For those who walk. Thanks, Mike.
An Apex man hurt after a gunman opened fire on UNC Charlotte's campus.
And tonight at 6, his best friend tells WRAL about his road to recovery.
And coming up, a frightening warning about common sleep medications, stories of sleepwalking and sleep driving causing injuries and even death. The FDA is warning about sleep medications causing dangerous side effects. It includes commonly used drugs Lunesta, Sonata, and Ambien. Reports of injuries and deaths resulting from sleepwalking, sleep driving, and other behaviors. The sleeping pills will require new black box warnings for the potentially dangerous side effects. The FDA says 20 deaths have been blamed on the pills. Well, you are likely to see a new form of smokeless tobacco soon. The FDA approved the IQOS tobacco heating system for sale. It's different than vaping devices. Instead of using smoke or vapor, it heats tobacco and creates an aerosol inhaled by the user. The maker says it contains fewer toxic chemicals than cigarettes. The FDA says even though it is allowing the product to be sold, that does not mean it has to be deemed safe to use.
Amazon is expanding its grocery delivery service. Beginning today, Amazon Prime members can use Prime Now to order items from Whole Foods. The expansion is available in 13 U.S. metro areas. Food deliveries can be made in as little as an hour. Amazon bought Whole Foods back in 2017 for nearly $14 billion.
The Jonas Brothers were burning up in the early 2000s, and now they're back and coming to Raleigh. The Happiness Tour with special guests Bebe Rexha and Jordan McGraw kicks off August 7th. The Jonas Brothers will be at the PNC Arena on August 14th. Tickets go on sale May 10th. Fans can also register for the Verified Fans presale, which gives you access to buy tickets before the general public.
Wicked is coming back to the D-Pack for the 2020-2021 season.
Popular. You're gonna be popular.
Wicked has been referred to by the New York Times as the defining musical of the decade. There will be more information about dates and tickets toward the end of the year.
It is great. I can't wait for it to come back. Catherine Brown is here now with what's coming up at 5:30.
I was so excited when I saw that message today, guys. All right, Bull City Strong. That is the message in Durham today. The Bulls honoring first responders who saved lives and the victims 3 weeks after an explosion rocked downtown. Plus, we continue our team coverage of today's teacher rally. At 5:30, we're breaking down the teachers' demands and what lawmakers say they're doing.